There it goes. Hey, welcome everybody to Astronomy Daily Live. So, welcome everybody. Glad you could come in. Come on in. Come on in. I can hear a little bit of the echo there. Yay, yay. So, might as well get right into it and say howdy to Bobby on the panel. Hey.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Got Scott coming in around Saturday and stuff. That's gonna really put me a damper.
Yeah. I've got some clouds here too. It was pretty much clear all day long, and these clouds just kept coming and coming, and now they're pretty much on top of me. So obviously no obsession tonight. The obsession has to be postponed. So tomorrow
And it's
night.
like every time you cancel it, it's clear, and every time you want it, it's cloudy.
Well, maybe it seems that way, but I canceled, today, and it's definitely going to be cloudy. Yeah, but no, I totally agree that it really seems that way. So I don't know how to counteract that though, right? Because I mean, if I
Did
cancel
you
it,
love the Hearts of Space for this week?
I did, and that
No.
was actually something I was going to mention on last Sunday or Monday. They did this pipe organ show, and I don't think that I've ever heard a pipe organ sound like that, right? That was incredible. That was just absolutely incredible. I
You
want to
never
get.
listened to pipe organ music before?
Well, no, I have definitely listened to um, pipe organ, but not played like that. That was a completely different kind of sound. How the organ was being played was pretty much unlike anything I've ever heard. So absolutely fantastic, and yeah, that's a good reminder that I want to listen to that again,
Now you
because
got me want to do that again as well.
yeah, it's I mean, right from the beginning, right, that first note, right, I heard that first note. It's like, what is this? What is this? What is this? No. You're not going to go there. There we go.
Yeah, I
So,
usually grab my dogs by the tail. We always say, I got a tiger by the tail or a dog by the tail.
well, what else are tails for, right? What else are they
Probably
for?
whip you in the face.
But to just grab, right? I mean, they're sticking out there. You got to grab them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You ever? I'm not sure you ever seen Space Bars, but when like Bart whips monster with the tail, it's like pretty darn good.
Yes. And when they're in the restaurant, and yeah, the whole thing. So yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
John Candy is one of my favorite actors. I think he
What did John Candy play during that show?
you're talking about Spaceballs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played Barf.
Oh,
He was
okay.
he was the Mog. Yeah,
That man had dog,
yeah.
and if you've never seen it, I think it's still on Netflix for sure. But if you can like get it somewhere, that's great. Ah, you got the DVD.
Of course. Now, I don't really like Mel Brooks. I find his kind of humor. Yeah, I know. I find his kind of humor kind of forced, right? Like he's trying really, really, really hard, to be funny. But this one, you know, does a pretty good job. I think, you know, I think if he wasn't in it, it'd be a really good movie. And I know that's going to seriously offend, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, I think also what Mel Brooks was good on was Blazing Saddles. You ever seen Blazing Saddles?
No, I think I tried getting through that, and I think I've tried multiple times, and I've never made it through that. So
I would never seen Young Frankenstein. That's another Mel Brooks. I can't believe
yeah,
I think he's still living for sure.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I just don't really like, you know, that kind of humor. And that's just a personal thing, right? I mean, you know, nothing against him at all. So anyway, I'd like to say hi to ERRT Radio. Hey there. And I'd like to say hi to Tom. Hey, Tom. And Andy is also in the chat. So yeah. You know, I definitely have to apologize because, you know, my brand of humor is I don't know. Sometimes it's all over the place, and you know, things that I should think are really, really great, I just don't think they are at all. So yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with a little bit of humor? I like to apologize too. I usually don't like horror films and stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. You know, I'm not really interested in, you know, seeing people getting hurt or scared or anything. This is not entertaining to me. But again, you know, that's a personal thing, and you know, to those, you know, who like that, cool. You know, my attitude is that if you're having fun, then do it. Right, whatever it is. Right, I don't care. So yeah, but yeah. So there's John Candy right there. There he is. Yeah. so yeah.
I think my favorite character on that actually was Lord Helmet. When they're about to transition away from him, he always had that little ownage thing and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
He always get owned by something. He got owned by the coffee, got owned by the cameraman, the door. He almost got owned by that bridge and stuff that was on that. And did you not know that it's kind of crazy? But how can you make a long Spaceballs 1 just like that and probably waste about maybe 3 minutes of your time watching that ship going by?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yep, good movie.
And
good
going
movie.
to Plaid is like, dang.
He's gone plaid.
Yeah. And my favorite part of that movie is when Borf was actually targeting that radar on Spaceport 1, and they just had like an actual jam.
They've been jammed. Yeah. They've been jammed.
When they know about it, that's when one reason why they give you raspberries, and he put the spicer down and boop, right in the kitchen with that camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it when they got jammed. It was it raspberry jam or strawberry jam? I don't remember. I think it was raspberry jam, right? Yeah.
Raspberry.
See, so you know, that's good humor, right? I mean, that's good humor. So yeah. Good stuff. Well, cool. I thought just to start with here, we could sort of nerd out a little bit. Once in a while, I like to actually take a look at the transcripts of this live stream, of this daily live stream. YouTube compiles these, and I can copy and paste that transcript to a file, you know, just a text file, and then I've written a little program that actually counts the total number of words, and then it counts the number of thes and the number of yous and the number of ands and the number of buts and the number of all the words, right? And what I especially like to see is like like how many times I say a particular word, especially something to do, with science or astronomy or space, or something like that. So it's sort of a little bit of a nerd fest, but that's what this live stream is all about.
Did you not know that the Earth Radio actually stands for Epic Reality Radio Tour?
Yes.
It could be I could have got the R's wrong, but maybe Earth can correct me on that. Or
yes,
Ron.
I did know that was some kind of a acronym. So yeah. If Ron wants to spell that out, that'd be good, because that'd be a reminder for me. So and with the transcripts, of course, I can look at the transcripts of any other YouTube thing too. So one of the things that is fun is to actually do the same kind of analysis on some of the other spacey and science things, and just sort of see what kind of words are used there, and what the frequency of those are too. So I thought I'd spend a little bit of time. I'm trying to collect these now every single day, because eventually what I want to do, right, is I actually want to do a full-fledged scientific paper on this, and I think it'd be really, really, really interesting. Oh yeah, nerds, total nerds. If you're here by default, right? By default, you are NERD, and that is one of those 4-letter words. Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. It's one of my favorite 4-letter words of all time. So I've got a lot of favorite 4-letter words, but that one is definitely in the top 10, I would say. One of my least favorite 4-letter words is WORK. That one, I don't like that one at all. I don't even like to think about that, right? There's another one too that I hate even more than WORK, and that is SNOW. Oh man, that one, that's like taboo, right? No way. But NERD, that is definitely one of my favorite 4-letter words of all time. So yeah.
Timmy baby work Timmy baby work by Rihanna.
Okay. I would definitely probably not like that song at all then. Isn't work a physics thing? Well, Tom, I think you got me there. Yeah. Work is defined as force times distance, right? That is the physical definition of work. But
there is work and there is work. WORK and WERK.
There you go. I would define work, though, in sort of the normal way as something that you have to do that you don't want to do, right? But it's got to be done, right? Like got to clean the house, right? Some people like that, and so it's not work, but
yeah, it means it keeps me off the computer for sometimes, or the TV.
There you go. Anyway, let's nerd out and look at some transcripts. So I actually grabbed 3 from yesterday. I grabbed mine, the live stream here. I grabbed the.
Do you get offended when somebody says NOB?
NOB? I don't know what that is.
November, October, Bravo.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh, that's when you call someone that might be fresh from a game, just getting started and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So yeah, it's very, very, very difficult to offend me because I try to keep an open mind about things. So most things like that, right, are just going to sort of, fly over my head anyway. I'm not going to understand them anyway. So no, to offend me, you've got to try really, 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 really hard. I think it's possible, maybe, but kind of hard. So anyway, so I grabbed the transcript from this live stream. I grabbed the transcript from the weekly space hangout, and I grabbed the transcript from Chris Elliott's live stream from last night. So let's look at mine first, and let's see. Yeah, okay, I've got it here. So I'll share my screen. Go to infinity. Here we go. Look out! Hold on. Woohoo! And then there's Bobby. He's going to infinity. Look at that. You see the arrow there? Look at that. Okay.
Go back to impulse power.
Enough of that. Let's go to here. So I'll show you the transcript first. Okay, so this is sort of the raw data, right? This is what it looks like. So there's a timestamp, and then some words, and then a timestamp and words, and on and on and on, right? So what my program does is it just counts up the number of words, and then it counts, like how many times I said cold, right? Or mean, or ease. And YouTube isn't perfect, right? So sometimes it finds words or makes up numbers, and I'll show you the list here that don't really make a lot of sense. Anyway, so I can run it through this code, and then I sort it, and I come up with this. And so way up at the top is this first number is the actual number of words that YouTube has decided I said. And I think that's relatively accurate. This is the number of seconds, right? And so just dividing these two numbers, I did a little over 2 words per second last night, which is actually a little fast. I usually average about 1.5 or so. So for some reason last night, I was talking sort of unusually fast.
Can you talk like the kids on South Park?
I cannot. Anyway, so
that'd be a good thing for me too.
Yeah. So the number one word that I said last night was the word you, and I said that 447 times. And then I said the word no 394 times. So yeah, now that you sort of see the pattern here, you can sort of see that I said the word I 275 times, the word the 268. So what I like to do is I like to go down this list and find the first sort of space or like astronomy related or science related word. So let's see, there's think, there's this, there's I'm, on, for, not, actually, are, was, see here, can, there, gets, sort, I do say a lot of uhs. I do say a lot of uhs. That's absolutely true. I said something 31 times. I said probably 31 times. It's kind of interesting. I think it's a really, really interesting way, you know, to sort of look and see what words are being used and, you know, how often
Does
they're
it
being
actually
used.
include audio from the panel or no?
I believe so. I think it grabs all the words, all of them. So yeah, some of these are yours too, Bobby.
Okay.
So I haven't seen any science or like astronomy related words yet. There's an pretty time. Time's sort of a sciency word, right? So I said that 17 times. Here's Marco, right? We were definitely talking about Marco. So apparently I said that 17 times. Power, yeah, sort of. That's sort of a sciencey word.
Kind of a bit weird they don't have the affirmatives for the Marco says for some reason.
Yeah. Who knows why? Okay, so I said spacecraft 13 times. That's pretty cool. I said moon 13 times. Telescopes 12 times. Radio, we said 12 times. Mars, I said 12 times. Launch 12 times. So yeah, you know, once you get down, see, so here's a case, right, where YouTube has identified this word, which is a hyphen, right? So, you know, technically that's not a word.
But it's there.
It's there. It's there. You know, I like to look at the data as it is, right? I don't like to necessarily throw anything out or anything.
It is. Dun, 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 dun. Some people never change.
That's it. So, of course, one of the words that I like to search for is astronomy. Let's see how many times I use the word astronomy. Wow, I used it once. Oh, that's just bad. That is just bad, right? How about astro of any sort? Astronomical, I used 3 times. Astronauts 3 times. What
the news?
When was I talking about astronauts? Do you remember me saying astronauts last night? I don't remember that.
I think it's either like me or Tom and stuff.
Maybe. Anyway, see, here's like a number, right? 35 and 1. So, you know, anyway, astrophotographers, I said once. Astronomy, I said once. Oh, this is bad. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Right? There's a lot of words, right, that are just said once. And then, as you can see, towards the bottom here, it gets into some numbers, right, which I may or may not have said. You know, 2019, yeah, I probably said that, but 1/6, 1/4. 1/6 is, I think, the gravity of the moon, right? 1/6 that of Earth. 1/4, I think, is the gravity of Mars or so. Said the number 0 one time. So yeah, you know.
I think like YouTube's AI system is usually not what you YouTube think most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think that this is entirely accurate, and that is also part of why I want to write this paper is sort of, you know,
try to prove it.
Yeah, well, you know, try to measure how well YouTube is actually doing the transcribing, right? Is it doing it 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, or 50% of the time? I don't know. I don't know. See, but there's these weird words like voila, right? Which I think I mentioned. Emily Lockdawalla, and so it sort of misinterpreted that. Yeah, Emily is up here. There's ERT, right? But lots of ones, right? Lots of words, that I essentially said once, right? Jim. When would I have said Jim? I don't think I said Jim. Haler, ham. A lot of these words is like I don't think I would ever use those words. But it's just really, really interesting. So since these transcripts are I can just go and grab them. I don't really feel as though I need permission or anything, right? I think there is a way to actually block the transcripts. So but since they're available, I just go and grab them, right? And so there's lots of twos there. See, here's a Marco that has a K, right? I think there was a Marco that had a C, and there's a Marco that has a K. So yeah, and there's a lowercase Marco there too. So it's just kind of interesting, right?
So it just gets to show you that it's far from being perfect.
Well, I don't know how far. Actually, I think it does a pretty good job. I would say just roughly speaking, right? How many individual words are there here? So there's 1,352 individual words, right? And out of those, I mean, I would say maybe only 30 or so might be mistakes. So 30 divided by 1,352, that's only 2%. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Anyway, let's look at the Weekly Space Hangout. All right. So I've got theirs here too from yesterday. And so they said 9,524 words in 3,720 seconds. And this words per second is pretty normal for them. They are fast talkers over there. So 2.5 words per second, right? They are really slamming it. But again, common words at the beginning, the and that and in and we and all that, right? But let's see what the first kind of sciencey, astronomy, spacey word is here. Really had some there. See more. To then think. Let's see. Actually, teams. Yeah, not really. Surface. Yeah, kind of, right? So surface, they said 18 times. For some reason, gravity, okay. Gravity, they said 18 times. So, what this indicates, right, is that perhaps that was one of the main topics, right? So let's see, challenge, year, stars. Okay, stars, they said 15 times. Space, they said 15 times. That's pretty cool. Let's see how many times they said astronomy. Oh, they didn't say astronomy at all. How about anything astro? So astronauts, they said once. Said astronomical once, and that's it. Astro, they said twice. I don't know why they would say astro. So yeah, you know, is that what they actually said, or not? Now, what we can actually do, right, is we can go into the transcript and find that word and find out exactly where it was said. Right there. Okay, so yeah. So at 3103, they said astro pH. And you sort of have to read this, I guess. But astro pH, I'm not quite sure what that is. I bet no, because nature. Oh wait, no, it's not. Well, that is really amazing. And then Astro Tours CO. I don't know what CO is. Colorado. I'm not quite sure.
Could be
anyway. So
company.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just kind of interesting, right? You know, to look through these and you know, do a little bit of analysis on what words are actually said. You know, magnetic 11 times. Morgan's name was said 10 times. How many times was Fraser? Once? Oh, that's not fair. Really? Yeah. So they said Fraser's name once, at least according to the transcript, right? I think Pamela was on last night, right? Oh, no, she got 9. And also 1. You know, that sort of counts, right? Pamela's kind of funny, right? So Pamela's name was mentioned like 10 times, and Fraser's name was mentioned once, and Morgan's name was mentioned 10 times too, right? Morgan. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Titan was mentioned 8 times. Yeah, and they actually talked about that. I remember that. NASA 8 times. So yeah, you know, like I said, you know, this is really
astroterms.co is Palm Southern Stratocyte.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, well, that makes sense then. Siberia was mentioned 6 times. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm not exactly sure what was talked about. I know that their guest was a fellow from JPL that does a contest for kids, you know, like a science contest. Let's see if JPL is mentioned. JPL was mentioned 12 times, along with Mars. Plants. I think they were talking about the Chinese rover. Magnetic, said like 11 times. So yeah, you know, it's just fun, and you know, it's totally nerdy, but it's kind of interesting. And you know, if one were, you know, sort of concerned about you know, what words are being used, right? I mean, you know, if you're trying to teach things or communicate and all this, I would think that a list like this, you know, might have a little bit of value. So you know, these kinds of things are super easy to make, and you know, I suppose, you know, if asked, I would just offer these, you know, because they're easy to do. It just takes a couple seconds. Atmosphere videos. Okay, well, let's look at Chris Elliott's transcript from last night. Now, he went for like 3.5 hours or so. So, at least according to YouTube, he said 22,785 words. in 12,753 seconds. So about 1.786 words per second. And again, these are sort of the usual common words, right? The, and I, and it, and you, and all of that, right? But let's do the same thing here and sort of go down and see what the first astronomy word is, or space, or science, or something like that. We're now up all out my actually really. There's camera. So camera, he said 61 times.
I don't want music with brackets.
Well, I think that's just that's how it is in the transcript. So I think he was playing music, and so I think that's probably what that is. Was that YouTube just picked up the fact that music was playing. So image, he said 55 times. That makes sense, right? Star, 54 times. Yeah. But it's kind of interesting, right? 54 times he said the word star out of 22,785 words, right? So 54 divided by 22785, that's only 0.23% of the entire time, right? He said the word star. Stars, 41 times. So you sort of have to add those together, right? Because that's more or less the same word. I'm just going to go page at a time here. Dipper, he said 33 times, because I think actually that the title of his live stream last night was something like Tour Through the Big Dipper. He was looking at a bunch of things there, and in fact, there's the word big. Galaxy, 30 times. Exposure, 29 times. YouTube, he said 26 times. That's kind of funny. Moon, 26 times. Let's see, what else here? So how many individual words? So 2,124 minus 3. So 2,121 individual words YouTube actually picked out. But again, a lot of these, as you can see, are sort of, they're numbers, and, did he actually say 1.7? I don't know. But we'd be able to go into the transcript and find out when he said it, and then we'd be able to go to the video and actually listen. So, and like 39:23, right? Did he actually say that? I don't know. That looks like a timestamp, to me. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But yeah, so some of these probably aren't correct, but I think for the most part this is pretty accurate. Ambient, he said once, maybe. Oh, right. So let's see. He said astronomy 11 times. That's awesome. He said astro 11 times. That's pretty good. Astronomical twice. Astronomers once. Astronomer once. Let's look for the capital. Oh, that's it. So, yeah, as I said, this is just kind of a fun, nerdy thing, to do from time to time. I've been trying to get into the habit of at least collecting the transcript from mine each day, because after several months I want to compile all of this and see what the stats say. It's kind of interesting. So I think there's some real science here. I mean, it's really nerdy science, but I think there's actually some publishable work here.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think it's kind of fun and super nerdy, and you know, so I like that. But yeah, you know, so Chris was, you know, speaking, you know, 1.786 words per second, which I think is like I said, I've been averaging around 1.5 or 1.6. So it sort of sounds like we two sort of speak at about the same speed. Although I'm not quite sure, you know, if he had any gaps or anything. You know, so maybe he talks really fast and then has, you know, these long gaps in time where you know, there's no speaking at all. So, you know, the average, this is just an average, right? But actually with this data, right, I mean, if you really wanted to nerd out, right, I'll go back to mine, this one. Because I've got the timestamps here, I could actually determine the frequency of each one of these words. How many times, you know, per second I said each word, and that'd be a little bit interesting too. So anyway, yeah, it's just a fun thing to do, and it's kind of interesting, you know, to see what words are said and you know, the frequency of the words. So, all right, well, enough with that. That's a little nerdy, crazy stuff. But yeah.
So, has anyone been to the John C. Stennis Center in Mississippi?
I haven't.
I went there as a math and science club trip one time. I think in my junior year, we went there and we saw some like the testing of rockets, found out how to feel to be in the ISS, and really do some crazy stuff.
Wow. So what do they do there? What do they mainly do there?
Like test rockets and stuff.
Wow. So like actual tests, you know, they put them out and they fire them and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Have you ever seen one of those?
Like a rocket test or just an actual rocket?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen the actual rocket for sure. But
Very
I've
cool.
seen like the sites where they did some tests.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was lucky to get the chance to visit Kennedy Space Center back in, let's see, when was that? Maybe 2006, 2007 or so. I had some work over in Tampa to do, and it's like, okay, well, look, you know, you're probably never ever going to get here again, so you better take a day, right? And tell the boss, and it's like, look, you know, when all the work's done, I'm going to go take a road trip, and so I did. You know, drove across the state. I mean, you know, it's not that far, right? I mean, it's, I think, a couple hours maybe. So drove from Tampa up to Kennedy Space Center, and yeah, you know, just did the tourist thing there. Very cool.
Did you ever see Mission Control or no?
Mission Control is in Houston, and I actually drove by there, but I never actually went in. So yeah, you know, that's in a completely different place in the country too. But well, I think what impressed me the most about Kennedy Space Center was two things. The first thing was they had a full-scale model of the space shuttle, you know, with the tank and the solid rocket boosters. And what impressed me about that was how small it was. It's, you know, I mean, I knew that it was small, right? But it's really, really, really small. Really amazingly small. So that really, really impressed me. I was just sort of shocked as to the size of that thing. You know, I guess, you know, in my head, it always looked much bigger, you know, on TV. Isn't that how that usually is? But that was definitely the case then.
If I was to see a rocket in real life, I'll be like amazed and stuff like that.
They're absolutely great. They're absolutely fantastic. The other thing that really, really impressed me is that they have a Saturn V there, right? It's laid out on its side. And that was just enormous. Much bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
When they put that space shuttle that made their last mission at, I think it was in California or something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. The space shuttles are all around the country, right? I think there's one in California. Yeah, maybe somebody in the chat knows. If Tom knows or somebody. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where those are. I think the Enterprise, which was, you know, the test one, you know, that never actually flew in space, I think that's at the Smithsonian in DC. I know that there's one in California somewhere. Not exactly sure where. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one at Kennedy Space Center. But yeah, I don't know where all four of them are. Yeah, don't know. But yeah, you know, the Saturn V, that blew me away. That I could not, you know, looking at it, right? It's so big. It's so big, and to think that object, you know, or an object that size, you know, went from, you know, zero velocity, right, at launch to,
Okay, so
you know,
Top Man Starter, he saw Saturn V in Huntsville. It's suspended from the ceiling of a huge room.
wow, they suspended it from the ceiling. That's amazing. Yeah, the one at Kennedy Space Center I saw, you know, was sort of laid out on the ground, right? It was in like a hangar, but wow, it was actually suspended.
It's the Pathfinder shuttles in Huntsville. It never flew.
Pathfinder? Tom, I don't think I've ever heard of the Pathfinder shuttle. Huh, I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. Interesting. So, yeah, but if you ever get a chance.
Flew, like you said.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Enterprise never flew either, technically, right? I mean, it flew in the air, but it never reached space. Okay,
Yeah.
Pathfinder was. I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't remember anything about that at all. So, kind of cool. I didn't know that much about that one. Not much at all. So cool. Well, yeah, you know, if you ever get a chance, Stennis is probably very, very, very awesome. Do they have other kinds of rockets there? Do they have sort of a touristy thing there or anything, Bobby?
Yeah, well, they got like they not only got to see where they do the test sites at, but they also got this little gyro thing that's like a little virtual reality thing. And I did like 2 rides on that. You can do 4 if you want, but 2 rides is what I did. I did the Mars adventure and the RGB adventure, but there's like the F-17. I forgot one more. They have a
What?
nice 1950 style cafeteria. That was good food there,
Wow.
and was able to watch a clip from the theater and stuff like that. And the whole big room and stuff with all the exhibits and stuff. Those were pretty darn awesome and stuff. You should definitely go there if you have a chance.
What kind of exhibits did they have?
They have like marine. You could actually be in the ISS while being in the ISS. They also got like where you can play around with the simulations and stuff. They got man. They have lots and lots of stuff, and
Very,
it's pretty darn good. I've been like all around and stuff, and just playing around and stuff, and then that was the greatest experience I could ever have to be in that Stennis. That's what they call it, Stennis.
a what?
The Stennis there in that Stennis Center in Mississippi.
Oh, the Stenosphere. I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, well tell me about the Mars one. What was that like?
The Mars one. Oh yeah, I looked at the Mars one for sure. They have those glasses you can borrow, and then you can look at the 3D imaging of what Mars looks like. And I think that was pretty darn good.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you for remembering me about that. I did see something like that. It was
Nice.
one of those like where you take like traditional glasses and stuff, the red and blue.
Mm-hmm. Neat. Neat. Yeah, those places are definitely worth visiting, for sure.
I
They
was never been to the one in Huntsville and stuff like that. That's way out of my. You know what I mean? I might have been to Alabama as a kid and stuff, but I don't remember any. I didn't see anything in Alabama.
hmm, hmm. Yeah. There are, NASA centers, all over the country, right? They've got them, sort of spread all over the place. So yeah, most of us are near, sort of at least one. Let's see, I'm probably closest to NASA Center, probably, like Edwards Air Force Base. That's sort of a NASA thing. I guess they renamed Edwards, though. It's not Edwards Air Force Base anymore. I don't remember what it's called now. But that's probably the closest sort of NASA-like thing, to me. And I've never been there, yeah. I've never had a reason to go, so I didn't, or I haven't yet. But
Now, when you said something about the Kennedy Space Center, that's actually in Houston or Florida. I forgot which one.
oh, that's in Florida. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I forgot
That's
what it's actually called in Houston. That's why I think that's where the mission
um,
goes at.
correct, correct. Yeah, Houston is the Johnson Space Center.
Okay, yeah. I got those mixed up. So thank you for
Yeah, yeah.
elaborating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I actually was in Houston once, and I drove by it, and it's like there it is, and it's like hello over there. But yeah, at Kennedy Space Center, I actually went out to this place where you could actually look at the launch pads. So I was probably, I don't know, maybe about a mile or so from launch pad 39A. Um, Drove by the vehicle assembly building. It is a very big building. It's huge. it's huge. You can, from miles and miles and miles away, it looks big. It didn't, didn't see any actual shuttles or anything. Like I said, at the time, this was 2007, so the shuttles were still going. Didn't see any of the shuttles. Didn't see anything at all. But saw the launching pads. Saw the vehicle assembly.
How far is the Unity Center close to like Okeechobee or something, or around the Everglades? It should be like around the Everglades by the Okeechobee.
Well, I think Kennedy Space Center is north of Daytona Beach, so I don't know my geography over there really well, but yeah. It's north of Daytona Beach. The interesting thing about Daytona Beach, I actually stopped there on the way up. Walked on the beach because I think that was the first time, maybe the second time. It was definitely the first time that I actually put my toes in the Atlantic Ocean. And I was walking on Daytona Beach, and the entire beach, right? The entire beach was covered with these little tiny shells about that big, right? Just little tiny shells. And so as you walked on the beach, right, it was crunch, 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 crunch. It was like walking on like really hard snow. But it was just these little tiny shells, just trillions of them, right? I mean, literally trillions and trillions and trillions of these little shells. I don't know if that's always the case, but it definitely was then. But yeah, put my toes in the Atlantic Ocean, so that was kind of fun. And then
you're not a great fan of like car racing and stuff like NASCAR, IndyCar, or something like that.
I'm not, but I did drive right by the Speedway. Yes, okay. I did see it. Yep. I definitely saw it. It's like, yep, very, very cool. There it is, Daytona 500 right there. Because of its notoriety, right? I mean, I recognize it. It's like, all right, cool, there it is. Yeah. So they use those shells instead of gravel. Yeah. I'm not surprised at that because there are just miles and miles and miles of it. And I don't know how thick it is, but it's probably pretty thick too. But just these tiny, tiny little things. And not that I'm, used to walking on the beach, but I've walked on beaches before. And that's usually a pretty quiet activity, right? You sort of hear the waves, you hear the wind, and that's about it, right? Well, on Daytona Beach,
I was driving by New Orleans, I was able to see the Superdome one time.
Oh, cool, nice. All right, well, I'm looking at the time and I'm noticing that we're just coming up to the hour here. I was gonna dive into archive.org, but yeah, it's been an hour. Let's call it a live stream. Now, if you didn't see on the Discord server, I've decided to not have a live stream on the 21st, and that is because primarily because of the lunar eclipse that's going to be happening sort of during that time. And if it's clear where I am, right, I'm going to be outside, right? I'm going to be actually taking advantage of the fact that I'm going to have a dark full moon. And I'll be able to watch the eclipse and actually get some work done. If it's not clear here, I'm going to go on to one of literally the myriad of live streams that are going to be showing the lunar eclipse, and just watching it that way. So I am
That
greatly
would be good
encouraging.
if you could direct us to some links of those streams if they become available and stuff.
I could, but you know they're everywhere, right? They are
I know
everywhere.
just saying simple search would no hurt.
Yeah, yep, that's it. That's it. So, you know, number one, right? I greatly encourage you to go outside when it's clear, right? If it's clear, go outside and take a look. Let those photons hit your own eyeballs, right? There's something really special about that, right? That you cannot get that if you're looking at this screen here, right? So go outside, spend a good amount of time, right? Spend a good amount of time outside, or look out your window, whatever, right? But let those photons, let that actual light, right? Those are your photons, right? Those pieces of light are going from the sun, hitting the surface of the moon, reflecting off the moon, and going into your eye, and your eye only, right? And that's awesome. That's
I
really
didn't
awesome.
pretty much when I saw a lunar eclipse for the first time. We was going home from shopping. I was living in Cross Springs at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and the nearest shopping center is usually in Opelousas, which was a 20-mile drive. And I remember seeing the lunar eclipse for sure and stuff. And I was like,
Cool.
that was amazing.
Right. But if it's cloudy, right, the next best thing, get onto YouTube, get onto Twitch, you know, whatever you want. There are going to be a lot of live streams, and watch it that way, right? And you know what I enjoy is sort of the community, right? You know, the chat. That that's a lot of fun, and you get all kinds of people there, right? All kinds, and it's absolutely, well, yeah, you know, it's a lot of fun. Um, Definitely a lot of fun. So, yeah, you know, like I said, I would much rather you do that, right? Either watch a live stream or go outside and watch it than sit here and watch me, you know, jabber about things, right? Go outside, take a look at this thing, or watch the thing live. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to be clear here or not, but when it is, I'm going to be outside with the telescope anyway, right? And that's not, you know, all that exciting. So yeah. Um, Definitely take a look at that. Now, lunar eclipses happen at least twice a year, right? And you more or less have a 50-50 chance of seeing you know, one or both. You just have to be on the right side of the planet, right? So it just so happens that this time with this one, us on the Western Hemisphere are going to get a nice view of it. You know, those of you on the other side of the planet, you're not going to be able to see it, you know, with your own eyes, but you definitely will be able to see it live streaming as well. So yeah, I just greatly encourage that.
Oh, doggy alarm, time to end the show.
Doggy alarm. I think it's time to go then. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. So have a great evening, a great day, and I will see you again in about 23 hours and 55 minutes. Yeah, correct. All right. Take care, everybody. I will see you on the spin. See you later. Bye.